Now today I want to discuss the psychology of not stopping when you've reached your goals. Billionaires have this trait. Upcoming millionaires have this trait too. It's a psychology that's quite inherently autistic, where you keep going and you never stop. You find a niche, you pursue it, you become a master at it, but then again, it's your life and you never want to stop. This is not the work culture of most people in our society. The 9 to 5, as we call it, breeds behavior where they long for the day to finish. Then on a Friday, they're like, it's the weekend and we get 2 days off. Now that's pretty good. But for those who have an urge inside their head, something that pushes them, it could be trauma, it could be the way their brain is wired with their autism. They want to keep on going and they will never stop. This kind of psychology that can be either autistic or tragic or something else is what drives a person to achieve their true purpose relentlessly as they go through life step by step. And it usually awakens within someone at a certain point in their life. So usually a person will only discover it later on in their life, and they're not born and then they suddenly have this desire to achieve everything. However, in rare cases, some people do. Maybe if trauma is onset at an early age and they want to escape that. But the way they escape from their traumatic experience is via working hard and achieving their goals from the moment they do it. And that's a productive way to fuel yourself with trauma. Now, trauma isn't a great thing, but it is a great thing to be able to release it, because everyone has some level of trauma. Even the most protected children of the richest parents, they'll feel they're not good enough. Or it might not be trauma, it might be self-doubt and depression, which may not be fueled by trauma. It can be a combination of all sorts. So rich kids can feel ashamed of themselves for having not done enough with their time because maybe they party too much. So this may onset this psychology where people realize their purpose and they pursue it for the rest of their life. People in a 9 to 5 may hit this in their midlife crisis, or while they postpone this kind of psychology to do whatever they wanted all day, every day. They may just feel pain because they feel the pain of regret for not trying earlier. So the main driver of this psychology is the regret that people feel. And I want to give you some examples now of how this kind of autistic or traumatic psychology comes out in people's work. Now, there's this brilliant entrepreneur called Charlie Morgan, and he has a business where he helps clients scale and grow their businesses. All right, that's pretty good. He wants to get people more clients. And for the last 7 years, he's worked basically all day, every day for at least 80% of the time. He has this amazing ability to work and never stop. And do you know why he does this? Well, it's because he had this trauma from when he was bullied as a young child, and it drove him so much. How this trauma manifested within him was that he had bullies. They were bigger than him. They bullied him and they were kind of an authority figure over them because he couldn't do anything about it. Because of that, he can no longer tolerate having an authority figure above him. Therefore, he became a businessman. Why? Because businessmen do not have a boss. So the trauma instilled this behavior within him where he will not take orders from anyone. Therefore, he chose business. And he works and he works and he never stops. How? Because he has a fear of mediocrity. The very bullies and peers he had growing up were mediocre. Now, mediocrity is usually okay. Mediocrity is, say, the 9 to 5 style life, which people have. It's repetitive, it's safe, but it's not too ambitious. And usually people have a regret of not doing what they wanted earlier because they were too scared to take the leap into a world outside of the 9 to 5. Charlie realized this at age 18, and he made sure that he would never go back to the 9 to 5 style of life. He would never go back to mediocrity. So he literally used this to drive himself to create the business. He spent all day, every day for about a year building his latest business, I believe. And now it generates him up to $1 million a month. This is the autistic psychology, which explains why you don't stop when you're financially free. You realize that if you stop, or so-called retire, which some people have the opportunity to do earlier or later, then you stop doing what's purposeful or what you believe is purposeful, and then you have nothing left to do. This is why when people retire, they often go into, say, volunteering, or they still do like handiwork. If you used to be a plumber or a handyman or electrician, you would still do it. You probably never retire because it gives you that feeling of accomplishment. So the concept of retirement is actually just a social concept where you stop working your job and you can get a pension to live off after you've worked your whole life. But what does this tell us about the job that you worked your whole life? It seems like it sucked, doesn't it? Because why would you want to stop pursuing your passion just because you reached the age of 65? You don't. That's not how passion and age works. Passion is lifelong, and it could be in the form of sports, fitness, art, having a family. It could be all those kinds of things. Now, retirement may apply to a lifestyle. I know people who have retired early because they have made the money, but that does not mean the end of your life. You must separate your work from your passions, or combine them so that you can profit off your passions and never have to stop working. But at that point, you're not working a 9 to 5, so it's not really a full-on career that takes up your time, is it? But I thought this would explain why some people never retire, because they have this trauma or autism in their brain that fuels them for growth all the time, all day, every day, and they never retire. Having this psychology is the fuel for growth in life, and it will help you pursue your passions like Charlie Morgan has done. He explained this very well in a video called How to Unfuck Your Life Like a Millionaire, where he went over the traumatic reasons why he never stops. He even went over a concept where if his money went below 500k a month, he said he would feel horrible. So if this is his income over time and it goes up, down, like an oscillation, this is the base level. Back when he was about 20 years old, he was at 100k a month, and he said if he went below 50k a month there, he would feel horrible about himself, and he'd reach this low point where he feels excruciating pain. So he says, right, I must work again. Like up. Here he hits 150k a month, and then he said, oh yeah, I feel good now, I feel superior to everyone else, and I believe I am entitled to a holiday. And then it drops back down here and he feels extreme pain again. Damn it, I'm on 75k a month, must work again. Go up, 200k a month. It goes like this and this and this, and now his baseline is $800,000 a month, and his lowest point of tolerance, like his basic standard, is $500 a month. Below that, he feels horrible, and anyone else would be like, I would take that money in a heartbeat. But the people who take the 500k a month forever are forgetting one thing, that you never stop when you're financially free. When you're at the point Charlie Morgan is, there is no stopping. You pursue your passion forever. Maybe you seek pain to drive you, and there's no such thing as retirement. He will never stop. And that is the autistic psychology that has driven Charlie Morgan, Elon Musk, all the biggest names, billionaires, to keep on going, even though they're worth so much money. And that's how you would become rich. That's why autistic people and traumatized people are successful, because they adopt this mindset where they feel horrible at a very high level of income, like 500k a month, which everyone else would be like, I'd be happy with that. Thing is, Charlie Morgan and Elon Musk would feel mediocre at that. In fact, they would feel ashamed. And so they would keep on grinding to go up and up and up in income. And that's what makes the rich rich. I feel like that psychology will apply to those who feel like killers and winners, and the people who have found their passion, and people who don't want to retire. That psychology applies to them. If you're not one of these people, that's great. If what you do is good enough and you earn enough money to get by, and that's what you believe you want in your life, that's great. But for those who have trauma that fuels them and makes them feel mediocre if they're not achieving enough, then this psychology might explain why you will never feel satisfied with what you've got, with the mediocrity that you currently have. And this will drive you all the way to the top, to a successful and happier life, which you may not have yet, but you will achieve. I know you'll figure it out. Take care, and I hope this helps you. See you in the next one.